At 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, national shockwave as plane conveying body of former Ondo State Governor Olusegun Agagu crashes in Lagos with some of his family members on board, 13 people killed. National Human Rights Commission promises to make public new facts uncovered about the killing of the Akure people in Abuja, 9 of them. Our big story tonight examines the Employees Compensation Act, which is yet to be fully implemented 2 years after it's signed into law. And at least 130 African migrants die after a boat conveying them to Europe sinks off the Italian island of Lampedusa.
On business news tonight, the federal government asks players in the public and private sectors to be optimistic about Nigeria's economic growth.
And on sports news breakings, Amir Khan gets his wish as the Olympic silver medalist will be stepping into the ring with American boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr. next May 2014.
We begin tonight with the tragic Associated Airlines flight Embraer 120 marked 5NBJY, which crashed this morning on the premises of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. The plane was conveying the body of the former Ondo State Governor Olusegun Agagu, family members, friends and officials of the Ondo State government. They were on their way to Akure, the Ondo State capital, with 20 passengers on board before things took an ugly turn. 13 people are said to have died and 7 survived. Our aviation correspondent Bukola Jo Oketunbi reports.
This is the site where the Embraer 120 aircraft belonging to Associated Airlines went down in Lagos. It's not just an ordinary area. This facility belongs to a group of energy companies who sell aviation fuel. Rescue operations are ongoing, but not without the surging crowd, as everyone wants to catch a glimpse of the ill-fated aircraft. Nearly all agencies are present here. As the coffin containing the body of the late former governor, Olusegun Agagu, emerges from the wreckage, personal belongings, including the burial program brochure, heightens emotions.
Some people have been rescued alive. A lot of attention is going to be concentrated on those people, at least to keep them alive and to make sure they are safe.
Then this drama over who takes the coffin away ensued.
We can move it to Air Force Hospital. That's it.
The Air Force finally takes the day.
There was not supposed to be any such thing. In any emergency scene within Lagos State, the incident commander is the general manager of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, and that is the gentleman beside me here. And you saw him in action when they were trying to evacuate the bodies on that plane, both dead and alive. Now, about the late Governor Agagu's body in casket, I mean, there may be certain instructions that, you know, some agency should take it. Lasema, you could see it was taken away by ambulance of the Nigerian Air Force. Lasema was not dragging that with them. Our own is to rescue.
With the black box found, investigations into the crash will now commence.
This is what is left of the wreck of the Associated Airways chartered flight. On board, there were said to have been about 20 people.
What now remains is the passenger manifest that will reveal the exact identity of those who were on board this ill-fated aircraft. Bukola Jo Oketunbi, Channels Television News.
Now, when news of the crash filtered in, rescue workers immediately swung into action. And after several hours, 7 people were brought out alive, needing immediate medical attention. Here's what the Accident Investigation Bureau had to say afterwards.
I'd like to say what happened today was very unfortunate in the history of aviation in Nigeria. And just to bring you up to date on what has happened so far, after the initial information given to you about the aircraft, where it was going, the number of people who were on board, an emergency response center has been set up to attend to the families of the victims of this unfortunate accident of the Associated Airlines, which happened at about 9:32 this morning. The center could be reached on the following telephone numbers: 01 760 72815. The last number, the area code is 01 for Lagos. The number is 793-6118. Efforts are on to reach the families of the victims. It is a normal practice. We have to reach the families before we release names of victims of the unfortunate accident. So efforts are being made to reach the families of the victims. For the time being, the search and rescue operation has been concluded and is being closed. Accident investigation has been launched into this unfortunate event by Accident Investigation Bureau. And the type of aircraft is Brazilian-made Embraer 120 aircraft. So far, the issue of age has not been ascertained. The NCA is up and doing. Aviation is highly regulated. It's the most regulated industry in the whole world. NCA is alive to their responsibility, and Nigerian government will make sure that only aeroplanes that are airworthy will fly in Nigerian airspace.
Now, we have confirmation on the number of survivors and those killed in today's plane crash. The General Manager, Corporate Communications of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Mr. Yakubu Datti, gave details on the number of casualties in the plane crash. He was speaking with our correspondent Ayotunde Balogun earlier.
From information available to us, there were 20 souls on board.
20 souls?
20 souls on board. And right now we are also following regulations and wanting to respect the families of the departed. And that is why we will plead that we reach out to the families first before we can make the manifest public. Right now, the latest information I have is we have 6 people that are receiving treatment. There's also another one who is unconscious. So, and then the remaining number, which is about 13, that we can confirm that have passed away.
Meanwhile, the President has described today's plane crash in Lagos as shocking and sad. In a statement signed by his Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Dr. Reuben Abati, President Goodluck Jonathan extended his condolences to all families who've lost relatives in the plane crash and the government and people of Ondo State who've been thrown into mourning. He said, quote, President Jonathan views the plane crash as most unfortunate and regrettable, given the concerted efforts of the federal government to enhance aviation safety in the country, end of quote. He also says that President Jonathan has ordered a thorough investigation into the crash by all relevant agencies with a view to determining the cause and taking further actions as may become necessary. Well, more reactions have been pouring in. Let's take some from the Ondo State government. It says it's shocked at the news of the crash of the plane bearing the corpse of the former governor of Ondo State as it was taking off from Lagos. An Ondo State Commissioner, the late Agagu's family members, associates and other top government officials were also involved in the crash. The Ondo State government has described the incident as an unfortunate disaster. The government, however, asks all residents to be in a sober and prayerful mood at this time. Well, we can take some other reactions from other governors. And the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu, has expressed disbelief and profound shock, saying the incident is a national tragedy. While calling for a thorough investigation into the cause of the plane crash, Governor Amosu prayed for the repose of the souls of the dead and wished those that sustained injuries a speedy recovery. And in Osun State, flags are to fly at half-mast for 3 days, beginning from today, in honor of those who died in the plane crash. While urging people of all faiths to devote the 3 days of mourning to prayers, Governor Rauf Aregbesola expressed regret over the tragedy. He said the incident is more painful coming when Nigerians are still basking in the euphoria of Nigeria's 53rd anniversary. And from Kogi State, Governor Idris Wada says he received the news of the crash and the attendant casualty figures with shock and disbelief. He noted that the crash is a disaster of no mean consequences, at a time Nigerians are yet to come to terms with the death of the former governor. And on his part, the Anambra State Governor, Peter Obi, said this is a sad moment for the country, Governor Olusegun Mimiko, and the entire government of Ondo State. He also prayed for the peaceful repose of the souls of the departed. Well, also, the Minister of Aviation, Ms. Stella Odua, has commiserated with the families of the victims of the plane crash in Lagos. The minister told journalists that it may be too early to determine the cause of the crash and urged the public to be patient while investigations continue. She confirmed that the flight recorder has been located and is in the custody of the Accident Investigation and Prevention Agency, and all relevant agencies are working to determine the cause of the accident. Now, before the tragic incident occurred, the lying-in state of the late governor's body was just one of the activities scheduled for today as part of his burial rites. However, the crowd waiting to receive the body at Democracy Park in Akure, the state capital, was thrown into confusion following news of the plane crash. The park had been decorated for the event with pictures of the late Governor Agagu pasted around the venue.
It's a very tragic event in Ondo State. I don't think such a thing has ever happened. You can see the whole environment, even the town as a whole. I think this is the only opportunity Ondo State people have to say farewell to Dr. Olusegun Agagu. Unfortunately, nature does not allow it to happen, and I think Nigeria has to really wake up and declare a state of emergency in our aviation sector. This kind of a thing should not still be happening in the 21st century. It is very, very unfortunate, and you can see we in Ondo State, the only opportunity we have to say bye-bye to Agagu, we're never given the opportunity, and it is so sad, and we are not really happy in the state.
We are sad about it. We are not really happy because it kind of came so urgent, as in we don't really expect this to happen. In short, it's tragic and we are sad.
It's very, very seriously because we haven't heard this thing ever in the history of Ondo State, and it brings a bad name to the Ondo State.
In part two, after the break, House of Representatives Committee on Aviation promises to investigate tragic crash. That's in a moment. Please join us again.